India is the second fastest growing market for freelancing. 80% workers globally choose freelancing to have more independence and be their own boss. 31% of freelancers globally make over $75,000 every single month. I don't know if you can see this or not, but 2024 is going to be the year for freelancing. People who are just 12th pass are making over 1700 rupees per hour as a freelancer. ऐसे में अगर आपको freelancing start करनी है तो ये वीडियो इज गोइंग टू बी द अल्टीमेट गाइड फॉर फ्रीलांसिंग इन 2024. लोग वर्कशॉप्स करके हजारों रुपए चार्ज करते हैं टू टेल यू व्हाट आई एम अबाउट टू गिव यू इन दिस एंटायर वीडियो. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू वॉच टिल द एंड, टेक नोट्स एज मच एज पॉसिबल एंड एग्जीक्यूट इन 2024. All I ask is to hit the like button and let's get started with the first question, and that is, why freelancing? Why work on your own when you can work under a company? Well, hear me out. Freelancing is all about working on projects with multiple companies around the globe and making in dollars and spending in rupees when you are living in India. You don't need typical degrees, you don't need to pass through interviews. All you need is experience, proof of work, and your ability to sell yourself. The biggest benefit of freelancing is independence. You get to choose where you want to work, with whom you want to work, for how long you want to work, and you can do it all from your home in your pajamas with a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. Don't believe me? Look at Google. Google employs over 54% freelancers and contractors and just 46% employees. They have more freelancers than employees. That is a huge signal that freelancing is here to stay. And if that's not enough evidence, let me share with you my own journey of starting as a freelancer. So back in 2019, I started working and acquiring skills like Python development, social media marketing, and graphic design. I used to work for societies and clubs of my college for completely free and get that important experience. I used to build simple projects, create carousel posts for Instagram, and create social media strategies to get more engagement. And then came the second semester, and with it came the pandemic. All of us went back home, and that is when my biggest opportunity knocked my door. I interned as a social media ads manager at a company, after which I got this call from a VC-backed startup asking me to make videos for their YouTube channel and to edit it as well. As a 18-year-old, I was making 3,000 rupees for making a 10-minute long video and then editing that video and sending it to them. To me, it was a miracle. I never imagined that I can sit in my room in Mumbai and make videos and get paid for that by some company which is sitting in Delhi. My first payment, I remember, is 9,000 rupees in August of 2020, and I never looked back. November of 2020 itself, I made my first 1 lakh rupees, and everything changed from that point in my life. See, I was dreaming to work in big tech companies like Facebook and Amazon and Microsoft and Google to make 1 lakh per month as a software engineer, and even more than that. But here I was in my pajamas, in my room, making that much, working remotely for some company. And that is when I changed my mindset. I was like, let me work on this more and just focus on this and go all the way in. I started working with even more companies to make videos, edit their videos, and I would also start teaching Python to school kids on a edtech platform in India. By January 2021, my day used to look like this. Wake up in the morning, record one video for that VC-backed startup, edit it and send it to them, script, record and edit a video for my own YouTube channel in the noon, and then prepare for a 1 hour long lecture about coding to school kids on a edtech platform. 6 to 7, I would take the lecture, and after that, I would rest, recover, and rinse and repeat. I was making multiple videos, I was teaching Python programming, and this was the life that I had never even imagined of. January was also the month when I made over 5 lakh rupees in total as a freelancer, and I never looked back. February of 2021, I set up my own freelance agency, working with even more clients, hiring people underneath me and learning how to build a real business. Fast forward to 2023, here I am today sitting in the office of that agency, recording videos, working with multiple clients around the world, making over 8 figures with my freelance agency. I would never make this much money as a 22-year-old and have the same freedom while working under a company in a tech role. The most interesting part about this journey is I learned all of these skills by myself, using YouTube, using courses without learning anything from my college degree. And I'm telling you everything about freelancing in this video. Now, before we learn how to start freelancing, I want to quickly touch upon the most important and highly paid freelance skills that you can learn in 2024, starting with full stack web development. There are lots of companies and individuals who want to hire full stack developers who can turn their idea of a website into reality, building both the front end and the back end of their website as a whole. This field is so lucrative that web developers end up making as much as $1,000 per hour as a freelancer. The most popular technology among all being React.js and the MERN stack. And if you can learn this, you will have a versatile tech stack that you can use to build projects of a ton of companies. I've made an in-depth video about full stack development. Go watch that if you're interested, but this is a highly lucrative field even in 2024. Number 2 is web design. There are lots of companies looking for efficient UI UX developers who can create the prototypes, wireframing, and then create the design of their website as a whole. In 2024, where everyone has the technology, the experience you deliver to the customer is what separates you from the rest of the competitors. And most companies know that. And that's why they are willing to pay top bucks to the best UI UX designers out there. Number 3 in this space is copywriting. Can you write an effective and engaging piece of content that gets people's attention? And if you can, you will get paid a lot of money. Anything from a landing page to an advertisement to even a piece of content for Instagram or LinkedIn. If you have the know-how of creating those punchy, attractive and engaging lines that attract people's attention, you are going to win in 2024. As I've said before, most companies are looking to stand out with the user experience and the brand they're able to build with their product. And the best way to do that is with the help of effective copywriting and branding principles. So you will have a ton of opportunities as an efficient copywriter. Coming up next is video editing. With a huge rise in video content creation, there is going to be a huge requirement for video editors who can create engaging pieces of content for YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. And if you know how to tell a story and communicate an emotion for the viewers, both with the help of video and sound effects, you are going to be paid a lot of money. There are companies shelling out thousands of dollars for editing their videos. From my own experience, I have worked with companies who are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for us to make an animated ad for their product. Just a 30-second ad, and they're willing to pay hundreds of dollars for it. Next up is blockchain. Web3 is a field which is heavily funded and is new, which means the number of experienced people is limited. And that is where your big opportunity lies. As a blockchain developer, if you can create decentralized applications effectively, you'll have a lot of demand in the market. Now, since the Web3 space is fastly evolving, if you can upgrade and stay up to date with the latest trends in this field, you will have a lot of demand as well. Coming up next is augmented reality. Now, just like blockchain, it's a very new space. Meta and Apple and Microsoft are all the three companies pouring in billions of dollars over creating VR experiences for people. I recently got myself Meta Quest 3 and I cannot tell you how immersive the experience is. And this is the new App Store. Just like in 2008, where people made hundreds and thousands of dollars with their silly apps on iPhone, you have an opportunity to create amazing experiences for people on VR using these VR headsets and getting paid a lot for doing so. So huge opportunity in the field of augmented reality. Last but not the least is being an AI or ML engineer. Again, as I said, with ChatGPT and large language models coming up, there's a huge demand for contract developers who can take an idea for an AI tool and convert it into a fully fledged project itself. And if you can do that, there's a huge amount of funding and money in this space for you to take. So those were the highest paying skills as a freelancer in 2024. So now that you know the skills, let's now talk about the platforms. Now, either you can work on freelance platforms or you can do cold outreach and acquire clients through that. We'll cover both of these methods, but first let's talk about freelance platforms. So there are a lot of freelance platforms that you can go on and find projects for yourself, namely Upwork. Upwork is the biggest freelancing platform right now, followed up with Fiverr. Again, Fiverr is where you will create gigs and you will charge for a project as a whole, whereas on Upwork, you charge for a per hour basis. Moving on, we also have Contra, which is an amazing new platform which does not charge you any platform fees. Unlike all of these other platforms who will charge you about 20% for every deal that you do, they charge you zero. And here you can find new age startups and opportunities for the new age technologies that I've just mentioned, like blockchain and video editing and AI and augmented reality. You will find opportunities over there on Contra for yourself. Number 3, people per hour. There's also We Work Remotely. FlexJob is a great platform. TopTile.com is amazing if you want to work as a remote developer. You can even find opportunities on AngelList.com, which is now well found. And lastly, you can also check out RemoteOK.com if you want to find remote jobs on software development along with remote freelance gigs as well. Now, if you're just starting from scratch in 2024, this is how you need to do freelancing step by step. Number 1, pick a skill, right? It could be one of the high paying skills that I've just talked about, or it could be anything that you are really passionate about, but make sure that you really enjoy doing that. Like, I love editing videos. That is step number 1. Number 2 is to find a niche. Your skill can be design, but your niche can be something very specific, like creating customized icon packs for people to use on their phones. There's a podcast on my channel with a 14-year-old who learned how to create these customized icon packs and sell it to people on Fiverr and make hundreds of dollars in the process. As they say, riches are in the niches. You need to be able to observe a niche where a lot of demand is there, yet there is limited supply. Very few people are offering what people are searching for. And if you can get in there, you can bridge that gap and end up making a lot of money doing so. So it's all about finding that skill and that niche, right? I'll just tell you a few of the niches which are very popular right now on Fiverr. Number 1 is coming up with business name, slogan, taglines, and branding. Number 2 is presentation design, helping people create elegant and structured looking presentations. Number 3, transcription. If you can help people transcribe their videos to text or to other languages, you can make a lot of money. Number 4 is usability testing. Usability testing is one in which people create applications and projects and you are the one testing it out. You are the one reporting the bugs, the problems that might arise when people are trying to use this app in public launch. So you are a usability tester. Number 5 is niche research. So any company will come to you with a problem statement and you will be the one who will be doing the market research for it and creating a report and submitting it to them. That is the job of a researcher. You can get paid a lot for this. You just need to know what are the best sources to look for stats, to look for findings and surveys and reports so that you can use that and create a research of your own. Number 6 is merchandising. This is very interesting. You basically help companies create their e-commerce and Shopify stores so that they can sell their stuff on those platforms. Number 7 is social media templates. There's a huge demand for template packages for Instagram stories, for Instagram carousels. These elegant and aesthetic looking packages that you can create for each of these post types and you can sell it as a bundle. And people are willing to pay a one-time fee to get access to all of these bundles of Canva or Notion or any other template like that. Next up is mock-up design. Essentially, there is a company, there is their motto, there is a tagline, there is a brand, and you are supposed to put that on all the things out there. Mugs, it could be pencils, pens, it could be pillow covers or whatever, right? Whatever they want you to put it on. You click a picture of each of those designs and you share it with them so that they can show it on their website that this is how it would look. So these are mock-up designs. Then there is podcasting services. Yes, there are lots of people launching their podcasts, and if you have learned audio editing and you know a thing or two about podcasting and RSS feeds, then you can be the one helping them set up their podcasts and also uploading their podcasts and editing those podcasts. So again, these are some of the lesser known gigs that you can start with on freelancing platforms. Step 2 is finding a niche. Step number 3 is building a portfolio. You should be the one who's building a portfolio which represents your skill sets on all types of use cases. For example, if you're a video editor, you should have a vlog folder in which you've uploaded all the vlog edits you've done. You should have one Reels folder in which all the short form edits that you've done is presented over there. Make it structured. You can use platforms like Behance, Dribble. You can use Google Drive as well. You can use all of these platforms where you can showcase your work, and that will act as a proof of work that you can use to show to anyone out there. The basic idea is for them to establish trust on you, they need to see the results you've had on the previous projects and the outcome that you've delivered. So first step is to build that portfolio, and step number 2 after that is to create case studies. Case studies is very powerful. We have done this in MarketUp and we have gotten a lot of interested clients wanting to work with us. The basic idea is you have worked on a project before and you create a story around it, that this is the problem that this client had. We took this problem statement. This is all the things that we did, and we helped this client get to this outcome. It could be more sales, it could be more visit on their websites, it could also be more engagement, more views, more likes, more shares on their piece of content. Whatever it is, you create an outcome and a problem statement and what you did, and that becomes your case study itself. You can post this on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram as well, and you can basically showcase how did you help this brand accomplish something. This is a great way to showcase your expertise in a particular domain, and people will happily want to work with you once you've build that trust through that case study and that portfolio. Now, as you're creating these case studies on social media platforms, you should also start creating more content around the topic that you are into. Maybe you want to become a freelance influencer marketer. In that case, your content should be around the influencer creator economy and how people are making money with content, right? Create as much content as possible around that, and you will be known for that particular keyword, right? Again, I've made a separate video about personal branding. Go watch it if you have not already, and you will get to learn everything about it. But the idea is to post consistently, post case studies, post stories of companies and what did you learn from their experiences and their mistakes. And you should also make it easy for people to contact you, right? Drop in your email, drop in your Instagram, and just make sure that you are available on these platforms, that you are increasing your discoverability. That is how you get opportunities automatically, right? So that is very important. Now, as you can see, there are countless freelance platforms out there. You can choose any one of them, but I want to show you how do you use these platforms. And for that, I'm going to take an example of Fiverr. Now, Fiverr is, I think, number 2 or number 1 best platform out there if you want to start freelancing. Now, Fiverr works in a gig type format in which every account has multiple gigs. A gig is simply a page where you are showcasing what can you do for the client, the past projects you've worked on, the experiences you've had, and a description of what you can do, the deliverables, and how much will you charge for it, right? It's very simple. You simply have to go and create a free account on Fiverr. And once you do that, once you submit your verification of your ID and you submit all of your information, and the next step is for you to create gigs. Let's say that you are a documentary video editor. You can create those highly engaging long form documentary videos. What you need to do is to create a simple gig which says, I can create professional Vox style documentary videos for you, right? That will be the gig name. That is what it will be called. After that, you try to write down everything you would be doing in the description. Now, description needs to be bulleted. Do not write long paragraphs, and note down everything that you will be doing for the client and how much time will you take to do it. And then you create different packages, right? Now, the first basic package can have the length of the video that you will edit and the effects that people can expect from it and the time it will take, right? Understand one thing, freelancing has 3 core components. Number 1 is the time that you will take to complete the project. Number 2 is the quality that you will deliver at the end of the project. And number 3, how much you will charge for it. And the rule of thumb is you cannot have all 3 of them at once. You cannot have a fast delivery time and you cannot make it cheap. If you do that, then the quality will not be top notch. You can have something to be cheap and high quality, but then that will take time, right? So you can only get 2 of them, but you will lose out on the third one, right? That is how freelancing works. Your packages that you create in your gig should represent that, right? The deliverables, the time you will take, and how much will you charge for it. The next one should have more deliverables, should have lesser time, should have more money attached with it. And the final gig package should have a lot more deliverables, lesser time, more revisions, and the price along with it, which will be obviously more than the last 2 packages. So that is how a gig really works. There is another part where you will showcase the work that you've done. And that, my friend, is the most important one, right? You can have the best description. You can have the best line for your gig. You can have the best packages. It will still not work if you do not have great projects to show. The way this works is you are supposed to showcase all the work that you've done in the past for clients or for your own self projects. I have worked both as a seller and a buyer. You are selling your services, so you are a seller, you will create your gigs. There is a buyer who will be buying your services and your gigs, and they will pay for it. Now, as a seller, I will always look at the quality of work this person has done in the past. How much are they charging relative to the average cost that other freelancers are charging on the platform? And I will also look at the description. Are they communicating effectively? Have they mentioned everything that they will be doing in clarity? I will look at all of that and then make a decision. I can also message you. There's an option to message the freelancer on Fiverr and ask them for more information or give them a custom project, right? So that is essentially how it works. It's all about having an attractive portfolio, in-depth description with bullet lines, and at the end, you should also define your packages effectively and well. When you do all of that, you just need to now wait. Now, all of these factors influence the search engine optimization of your gig. If anyone searches for documentary video editing, if you follow all the practices that I've just told you, your gig will have higher chances of being at the top compared to someone who has not followed these practices. That is essentially how it works. That is Fiverr SEO in short. So that is Fiverr SEO. We've learned about gigs. We've learned about the message button. And another part that most people miss out on is the buyer request. So on Fiverr, you can also submit a request as a buyer that, hey, this is what my requirement is. And once you state your requirements for your project, people will bid underneath it. People will state their price, the time they will take to make it, and they can also mention a simple description talking about why they think they are fit for this particular project. That is a buyer request. The problem with buyer request is that as soon as anyone puts a single request, it is flooded with a ton of spam messages from a lot of freelancers, right? So for you to stand out, you really need to do something different, right? So either you just sit and wait for someone to discover you through Fiverr SEO by optimizing your gig, or you can also fill out these buyer requests and see if someone converts that way. My sister, when she was 12, she got her first project through buyer requests on Fiverr, right? To make a simple logo. But talking about the next segment, which is for you to create multiple gigs, right? If you create more gigs for yourself, you'll have more opportunities. So one could be about documentary video editing. One could be about wedding video editing. One could also be about vlog video editing. One could also be about particular styles of video editing. Like for example, I hired freelancers on Fiverr to create those animated reels for myself, right? The ones that you might have seen on Instagram by Danko and other, creators. So I wanted to create those type of reels. So I just searched for that. There were very few freelancers who were making that type of reel. And so I gave them the work. They charged about 3,000, 4,000 rupees for every 30-second animated video. I paid for it. And, the person who I had the best experience with under-promised and over-delivered, right? They said that it will take them 5 days. They gave it to me in 4 days, right? And they did not have a lot of mistakes. They were clear with communicating everything with me, and they delivered on time, right? And they were not even living in India. They were living in somewhere in the Middle East. So the idea is you can get in and get opportunities if you take care of all of these tips on Fiverr, right? That is how Fiverr works. Upwork is a similar platform, but in the case of Upwork, the buyer creates a request that, okay, this is my project and this is the freelancer I'm looking for. And you are paid per hour basis. So you write an hourly rate for your services and then you bid, right? So you can send a request to me saying that, hey, I had a look at your project and this is why I think I am fit for your project. And you can check the work I've done on my profile. So on their Upwork profile, you can go and see how many hours have they worked on Upwork and how many reviews do they have, the testimonials. And at the end, you can also see how good are they with communicating, right? This is one of the biggest skills. Being able to communicate clearly as a freelancer is very important. Acha, talking about testimonials, right? This is by far the most important tip, both for Fiverr as well as Upwork or any other freelancing platform. You need to get that sweet testimonial and review from your client. So if you can just request them at the end that please give me a 5-star rating, or you can also ask for giving a simple, honest review. And if they do that, you will win, right? You can offer them more discounts later on. You can work with them for recurring basis as well. But having that first project and getting that review is super important for your profile. Once you have a review, your profile will hold more weightage. Your profile will get recommended more often by the Fiverr recommendation algorithm. Okay? So we've just talked about a lot of different things. We started with why freelancing, my freelancing journey, freelancing niche, skills. We also talked about freelancing platforms. I went deep into talking about how Fiverr really works, and Upwork, as I've just noted. I want to next talk about how do you find clients through cold outreach, right? This is a part which I have perfected, which I have mastered over the last 3 years, and I want to share everything about it with you. So you can either do it through emails, through social media DMs, or through referrals, right? These are the ways to do it. Let's first start with email marketing. So essentially what you're doing is you are creating an ideal customer persona, right? So write down who should be your ideal customer, right? What service are you offering? And as we've just talked about the most paying skills, you pick one of those, you master it, you make projects on it. The next step is to find out who is your ideal customer. If you've mastered LinkedIn marketing, you would want to approach founders or CXO level people at companies for their LinkedIn personal branding. So let's say you want to do that, right? That is your ideal customer persona. Basically, anyone who is a CEO or a founder of a mid-sized company at least, and they want to build a brand on LinkedIn. So you can help them as a LinkedIn ghostwriter. So that is your ideal customer persona. You can go as deep as possible. You can specify what niche you want them to be in. You can specify how big the company should be. And the idea is to take help of platforms. There's a platform called as Apollo, right? So Apollo is a platform where you can go onto. This is not sponsored. You basically go on that platform and you start writing down the ideal customer persona after making your account. And once you do that, you can make a search. Now, Apollo will search for all of these people through LinkedIn and other platforms, and it will share with you their emails and sometimes also their phone numbers, right? This might be scary, but this is an amazing tool that you can try out for yourself. Other platforms you can take advantage of, like Hunter and Rocket Reach, to find email addresses of anyone that you want to reach out to. But Apollo is still one of the best ones out there because you can find a whole group of such people who have particular characteristics, right? Who are from India, and you can mention all of the details over there and it will just create a list of that ideal customer persona for you. And you can get access to all the ways to contact these people, right? The most professional way is to go the email route. Do not message them on WhatsApp saying that, hey, it just looks unprofessional. Don't do that. Whenever anyone reaches out to me on message, I have no clue of who they are. Why are they messaging me? And it's an instant block. Do not do that. Just be on emails. So let's say that you are active on emails, right? You write a simple message. It needs to be very simple. Just include 3 main paragraphs. The first one is who are you? The second one, what is the context here? What is the relationship over here? And lastly, what do you want, right? Now, the way to go about it, if you want to get opportunities as a freelancer, is to first get their email through Apollo, right? So you found the email of some founder at some company, let's say an AI startup in India. You took their email. Now you're writing the body of that email, starting with your introduction. So you can basically just say, hey, I am this person, and I've been working as a LinkedIn ghostwriter for X amount of years, and I've helped XYZ people build their brands, right? That is the simple introduction. Next step is that you establish the context, that I had a look at your profile. I see that you are an expert in this field and you can offer a lot of insights to your audience, and I am there to help you win it. And the next part is that since you are busy, I don't want to waste your time. Here are 5 LinkedIn posts I have prepared for your own account for completely free. Just have a look at them. If you like them, if you want to work together, reach out to me. Just a simple email, right? You're just offering as much value as possible. Anyone would feel guilty if they do not reply back. You've already put in the effort to reach out to them on email. Now you just wait for them to have a look at all of those LinkedIn posts. And if you have written it effectively, they will reach out to you. And your goal is to get them on the first call, right? Now the first call is very important, right? Do not be talking on text all the time unless they want you to. But be very active to get them to a video call. Now on a video call is where you will ask questions. The key to sales is never to sell the features, is never talk about, yo, I can make 10 LinkedIn posts for you, or, I can get you this much traffic. No, just ask them questions that, what are your goals like? What do you want to do? Do you want to switch companies? Do you want to find better opportunities? Do you want to become an expert in this space on LinkedIn? Do you want to find corporate speaking gigs? Ask them as many questions as possible. And once you've understood their situation, just pitch what you can offer. Just see how can you help them. And just state this thing that you want to be here by the end of the next year. And I can help you get there with the help of my LinkedIn ghostwriting. I will sit on a call with you once every week. I will ask you certain questions about your life, about your lessons, about everything that you've gone through so far. And I will create captivating LinkedIn posts using that. Once you review them, we can then go ahead and start publishing these posts on your LinkedIn profile. The goal here is to sell the outcome and never the feature, and always be the one who's talking the least. Never sell. It's all about just sitting and asking them questions. What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? Right? That is very, very important. So that's the first call that you get on with them, right? Now there are two outcomes. Either they'll say, heck yes, let's start working. Secondly, they might say, you are charging a lot of money, right? I cannot pay that much. Or thirdly, they'll say, I'll get back to you, right? Now, first one is an amazing case. We'll get back to that later. Second case, if they're saying that you charge too much, now here is what you do to answer this question, right? You ask them, would you want me to work for 1 month for completely free for you? If you genuinely think that they are valuable and they can grow, they have the insights, try working with them for 1 month for completely free. Just try working that. Just try doing that. And once they see the traction, once they see the likes and people reaching out to them, they would never want to stop working with you, right? It's all about knowing and having confidence over you and your ability and your skill. And then just working for free for 1 month. If you do not have any credentials, if you do not have any experiences in the past, work for free for 1 month with them, right? You will build your portfolio and they will see how good your LinkedIn post writing capabilities are. But once you do all of that, right? The first 1 month, set an invoice which says, let's just say that you charge 1 lakh rupees, right? For making 20 LinkedIn posts. So you say 20 LinkedIn posts, 1 lakh, and then you say discount 100%. So you slash the whole thing and you write 0 over there. Even if you want to work for free, just write that down over there. That tells that you value your work. You are working for free for a particular amount of period, only for them to have trust on you. That is very important to understand. That is how you answer the second question. Either you reduce the deliverables and then reduce the price, or you work for free for 1 month if you have no experience. If you already have the experience and they still don't want to pay you, that might mean that you are in the wrong market. So you might want to go and find another customer persona who can afford your services, who have extra cash lying around by the end of the month for them, right? So that is how that works. And if at last they say, I will think about it, well, that is where you want them to get to say no, right? The best thing you can do is to talk to a client and get them to say no. It's always these people who are like, I'll think about it next month, next to next month. They're just wasting your time, right? Do not care about this last case. Just focus on getting them to say no or saying yes, right? It needs to be either of them. The middle is dangerous. So that is how it works. This is how you talk to a client on the first call. This is how you would talk to them in all of these 3 conditions. And the first condition, the most ideal one, where they say, let's start working. That is what you would want in every single client call. But once you have that, this is where your real life starts as a freelancer. This is where your real responsibilities start as a freelancer. Let's talk about that right now. So now let's talk about the good case, which is the first one, in which the client says, heck yes, Ishan, I want to work with you. Give me the next steps. That is where you start the onboarding process. For every client, you must have an agreement, right? This is the most basic thing. Every freelancer should do this. It hurts me when I see people just, listening to a client saying yes and starting work for them. Do not do that. A soft yes is when they say yes in a call, but you really need for them to sign a paper, a piece of paper which has the scope of work, the deliverables, the timelines. It also has the compensation that they will be paying you and all the details about it, right? So you have to make sure that you create an agreement and you create it and share it with them. Now, The agreement is very simple. You can just search on Google freelancer agreement and you can press enter. You'll find multiple templates. Just pick one, put that on Google Drive or Google Doc and just put your signature on it and ask them to put the signature as well. You can also use DocuSign once you start making enough money, and that would be much better for you to sign contracts with your freelance clients. So once you have the contract in place, the contract has all the terms and conditions along with the timelines and the deliverables and how much money will be paid out. That is very important. Get them to sign it and only then move on to the next part, which is advance payment. There are so many of people who message me saying that, Ishan, I worked for this client and they did not pay me yet. It hurts me. It's so sad. There are so many people who are getting used by clients because they did not take advance payment. This is the biggest mistake. You have to make sure that you take at least some amount of advance payment, right? It should ideally be 100% upfront because they have the trust. That's why they are working with you and that's why they trust you. So just go out and ask for 100% upfront payment. This should also be a part of the contract, putting down how much advance needs to be paid by the client and how much will be paid at what stage of the project development, right? So you create that need for them to pay upfront. If they do not agree to 100%, at least ask for a 30%, right? 30% upfront payment, 30% once the project is halfway done, and 30% once they have given the green flag and once the project is completed. So that is the bare minimum. You need to ask for upfront payment. If you don't, they are not liable, right? Agreement is good, but most of you will not go to a lawyer. You will not go to the court and sue them, right? Unless it's a very huge deal, you will not be doing that. And so that's very important, right? You create that agreement and you ask them for upfront payment and then you take care of your invoices, right? It's very simple. I've been using Canva for creating invoices, which is not optimal. I then switched to a platform called as Reference, completely free, not sponsored again. It's a tool I've been using for the last 2 years now, 1.5, 2 years, to create those invoices that I send to each of my clients, right? It's a very simple invoice management software. There are other features, but the basic use I have it for is invoices, right? So because I am working with a client multiple times, I can just write their name and all of their details will be visible, right? Their address, their GST number, and other details. So that is very helpful. And I can write down the deliverable and the cost and when do you want them to pay it. And then you can just email the invoice to them. Once they pay, that is when the next thing starts, which is your operations. This is when you deliver. Always make sure that you are great at communicating. Right? This is one of the biggest problems with freelancers out there and why people are afraid of working with freelancers is the lack of communication. Ask questions. Genuinely ask questions. Like ask everything, right? Even the most dumb questions. Ask, don't assume, right? Very important to understand. Most people make this mistake and they end up creating something that the client did not ask for. The more you communicate, the better you will know what are they expecting. Ask them for examples. Ask them for what are they looking for exactly, right? And be very specific. Ask them to lay out exactly how you want it, right? It's a big mistake people make. You have to be exact with the client. Client will look at the thing that you've made and they might be like, "Ye acha nahi lag raha, maza nahi aa raha." Don't take that feedback. Ask them to give proper feedback. Ask them to specify exactly what they did not like about the project that you've submitted. This will help you to constructively work on the project again and improve the specific parts of it which they do not like. So be very specific, communicate as much as possible, and mention the timelines, right? Timelines are very important. Every client would want to come back to working with you if you master the timelines, right? So ensure that you have it all written on a piece of paper which is shared with them. Also make sure that you communicate on the platform that they are comfortable with, right? Some of our clients are only available on Slack. So we let go of WhatsApp and we go on Slack and we learn how the platform works. Some of them want to talk to us on WhatsApp. So we are on the WhatsApp platform. Whatever the platform might be, we have some crypto clients and they are on Telegram. So we are on their platform, right? It's as simple as that. Be where your audience and the client is, and that is the best way to communicate. So these were some very important tips for you to understand. Let's also talk about some important tools, right? So as you are just doing all of this, you will require some important tools. The first one I've just talked about is Reference to create your invoices, DocuSign for all of your contracts if you can pay and invest. And the third one is going to be Notion. Now, Notion is where you will be able to manage all of the projects, right? There is a huge chance that as you start working with more clients, you will be having multiple projects running simultaneously, right? At the same time, you might be working on 2 different projects. It's very important for you to not mix the details of one with the other and stay clear. Clarity is important, and you can get that with the help of Notion, right? It's a free tool. Just go over there and create a simple project management dashboard. When you do that, you can basically take care of all of the features or all of the tasks you have in this project and get done with that one by one, so that you don't forget anything and you can have clarity on what needs to be done with what project. Okay, that's very important. Receiving payments, again, you can take the payment in your own bank account savings, but as you start making more money, you can also switch to a current account and get a GST number, right? I wish I got a GST number before. There are so many benefits to it. It looks more professional to any client you send an invoice to, that you actually have a sole proprietorship and that you are not some run-of-the-mill random guy, right? So in India, get your GST number as soon as possible and incorporate yourself as a sole proprietorship. You can also do other things, but this is the most simplest way to incorporate yourself. So once you do that, you can then start sending them your GST number, and you can add that GST amount and you can take the credit of that GST when you are buying other things. So that's essentially how that works. Now again, to incorporate your company, I simply used a platform called as Vakil Search. It was very simple. It was very quick. This is what worked for me. Check it out. If it works for you, great. So that's how you incorporate yourself. Let's also talk about some important tips. As I've just said, taking feedback is very, very important, and it is an art. It's an art that you will get better at with time. So that's number one. Number two, always make sure that you keep upgrading yourself. The death of a freelancer is when he or she stops upgrading, is when he or she is comfortable with just the skills that they have. Because guess what? The other people in this field are leveling up. The other people are finding more opportunities. The market is getting competitive. And if you want to survive, you need to be the one who's constantly upgrading yourself. That's very important. Always try your best to get referrals, right? That is by far in MarketUp the best way that we were able to get good, happy, high paying clients, right? So always ask for testimonial and ask them if there is a friend or anyone in their network who would want to get their services. And if they can get you a client, you can get them a discount. As simple as that. Get me a client, I'll give you some discount on the service I'm offering to you. One thing I forgot to talk about while I was recording the video is how do you charge and how much should you quote, right? So it's very simple. You go and look at how much people are charging on the freelance platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, and through that you can decide how much should you be charging as well, right? So you can charge something which is in the middle of what they are charging, like the average price, and that is for getting started. But once you have gained experience, you can start quoting higher amounts. And because you have experience, you have the testimonials, the reviews, the projects, the experiences, you will get paid a lot for it. People would happily pay you more because you are an experienced veteran in that space. That's number one. Number two, what should be your pricing method, right? So either you can price it in the per hour basis, or you can price it for one project. I would suggest price it on the per project basis, because whenever you price on the per hour basis, you have an incentive to take more time, right? If you have to make a website, make a logo, or make some carousel post or content, you will take more time, because only then you will make more money. But for the client, they would want you to make it quick, right? That is what they will pay you more for. So again, it's a dilemma that if you can do something faster, you should be paid more for that, right? Your value of your time is more important. So you have to start charging on a project basis, that you will just charge $5,000 for a logo, right? And you will get it done in 1 week, versus charging $50 an hour and taking 100 hours to do that, right? I hope I'm making some sense. Please always charge on the project basis, and that will help you make a lot more money and save time of the clientele as well. And that will make them want to come back to you again and again. That is the second tip. Thirdly, you can accept payments on PayPal or through other platforms as well. There are many payment platforms out there, but just make sure that when you take payments from PayPal, they are also including the fee that PayPal takes. Like for example, if they pay you $1,000, so PayPal will take away about $50 out of it. Like they have some 3 to 5% commission that they charge. Ensure that it is mentioned in your invoice that you will charge $1,000 plus that PayPal platform fee, right? So then they will pay you something like, $1,050, so that you end up getting $1,000 after PayPal take their cut. So just some quick tips to help you make more money as a freelancer. Another important tip is to sell more stuff to your existing clients, right? You will make a lot more money when you sell more things, more deliverables to your existing client than you would make to getting more clients. So the name of the game is to identify where else is my client struggling, and can I team up with another freelancer and offer that skill, or can I learn this skill myself and offer it to them, or do I already have the skill, I can just start offering it to them. Whatever it is, your goal is to increase the ticket size of your existing client, and that is going to help you make a lot more money. They already have the trust, that's why they're paying you. If you can offer them more deliverables, more services, you can charge them even more, and they will happily pay you. Another tip is to always get your client on a retainer basis. As much as possible, ask them if they would want to work monthly. Obviously, there are services like logo design where you can just make a logo and be done with it. You cannot work on a retainer basis, but for many services, it's possible for you to give them a bundled package deal, saying that I will not edit one video for you, I will edit 20 videos for you. And hence, I will not charge you 5,000 rupees per video, I'll charge you 3,000 rupees, because now I am getting paid 3,000 into 20, 60,000 rupees instead of just 5,000 rupees. So make sure that you sign a long-term deal with them, and that is going to ensure that you have recurring revenue in your freelancing business, right? That is how it works. Always get them on a subscription basis. And once they are addicted to the services that you deliver, they would never want to switch back, right? If you offer them the right price and if you have the quality and the skill, they would never want to switch back. And that will ensure that you get monthly recurring revenue. So that is all you need to know about starting freelancing in 2024. Once you start working with clients, try your best to get to $10,000 per month. I know this will be hard. It might take you 2 years, 3 years. But once you get there, start delegating your work, right? Hire freelancers under you. Ensure the quality is top notch and start delegating the task so that you can work with even more clients. That's what I did with my agency, Market Up. We started 2.5 years ago, and we were basically working with companies, helping them grow their social media, YouTube and Instagram primarily. So that's what we did. We hired 25 people and we worked with 12 clients, right? So we were handling their editing, their designs, their content strategy and brainstorming, all with the help of the people that I've hired in the company. So that's how it works. This was the complete blueprint for becoming a freelancer in 2024. I hope this video helped. If there's one learning you had from this video, click a screenshot and post it, share it with a friend on social media and tag me at Ishan Sharma 7390. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the very best. I hope that you learn and execute and get to your $10,000 per month by the end of 2024. If you have any questions about freelancing, let me know below in the comment section. If you're still watching right in the comment section, I was till the very end. Please share this video with as many people as possible. Spread the news. Freelancing is going to be the big trend of 2024. Get out there, get started, execute. I wish you all the very best in 2024. I'll see you in the next video.